Okay. Hi everyone. This is Kenya again, and I had to make a video about a recent issue that has been brought to my attention um, by a viewer, and it's really crazy. So there was a doctor. Her name is Dr. Harris, and she is an African American female pediatric dentist, and she was recently they tried to fire her from her job at the dental practice that she worked at, and then they kind of gave her like, well, you can stay if you do this, and she decided to leave, and it has something to do with racial issues. So what happened is she was making comments about the Michael Brown incident, and she was making comments about how um it's basically an open season on African Americans. If you are African American, you know that to be true. And so she was making these comments on her personal Facebook page. And she's not friends with any of her coworkers, but they actually informed her when they called her into a meeting to terminate her or to tell her their issues that they had hired somebody to spy on her, and that they did not like her basically being pro black, and that she basically needed to watch what she was saying and things like that. And she was like, F y'all. I have a dental degree. I can go work anywhere. I can go to my own practice. And she left. And I applaud that sister so much. Like, I applaud her so much on what she chose to do. And I think it's a lot of African Americans who work in jobs and hold on one second, y'all. They work in jobs and we're comfortable, even though we know that some of our non-melanated coworkers treat us a certain way, make racial comments, do things that aren't appropriate, try to sabotage our work, or try to take credit for our work. And if you are a person of color, if you're an African American person, because I wouldn't be surprised if this happens to other races either. But you can attest to workplace discrimination. Like, it's crazy. They'll ask you, "Can I touch your hair? How did you get it like that?" And I mean, am I an animal? Why are you trying to pet me? You know what I'm saying? Don't touch my hair. No, that's weird. Um, I could do the same thing, vice versa. There was recently something that came out, and it was like things. It was like from Buzzle, and it was like if black people said the same things that white people said. And one of the things was like the black girl was talking to the white girl, and she was like, "Wow, your hair is so stringy and limp. How did you get it like that?" Because that's kind of how they do you. They ask you, "How did you get your hair to puff up like that? How did you?" And it's like, really? I mean, we're a different culture of people. We have different hair textures. I mean, what is your fascination with how I look? Um, so I have to applaud this sister because she stood up for what was right. She did not do anything wrong. She didn't have any anti-white um, rhetoric on her page. It was just talking about police brutality and African Americans and how it's happening to us at a disproportionate rate, and we need to be on guard. Um, Nothing wrong with that. She also started an organization called Black Bachelorette organization. And when she started that organization, they started to kind of monitor her because it's like they felt, why is she doing things just for black bachelorettes? Why isn't she? Why does it have to be about race? I mean, if you're not a minority in this country, you don't know what it's like to be a minority. And so it's almost like when you do something just for your race, just for your culture, it's like, well, why can't they just assimilate with everyone else? Like, explain to me. Well, actually, I don't even want an explanation. But there's an issue when you feel, well, why can't everybody just be like me? Why do they have to do things just for black people? Why do they have to do things just for black women? Why do they have to just do things for Asian women? Why not? Why does everything have to be in a way that makes you comfortable? And so, what I've noticed in my life, also because I'm very outspoken about racial issues and certain health issues and certain things, people will tell me, um, they'll say, Lejay, you shouldn't speak about those topics. They're controversial. Someone might see them. I'm like, someone like who? Do you mean if I talk about Michael Brown, or if I talk about police brutality, or if I talk about some of the lynchings that go on in this country, if I talk about um any issue that deals with race, who is it going to offend? White people? Like who are you concerned about it offending? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be offended about. If something happens in the Asian and American community and they rally about it and get upset about it, I can't be upset with them about that. That doesn't bother me. Um, but I mean, I just don't understand what's the problem. Why I can't be pro black? Why I can't be pro African American, pro African? Why is that such an intimidation? Why does that make other people mad? And I think that's the question that a lot of people need to ask. Well, don't say too much about that because that might offend this or this. But on the other side of the coin, as an African American or as a minority or whatever however you want to call a person of color, you get belittled and treated like crap, and people make inappropriate comments to you all day. People do things to make you uncomfortable all day, and then you're supposed to turn around and not do things that inadvertently make other people uncomfortable. So if I'm talking about race, and it's not in an anti-white manner, if I'm just being pro-black, um, and that makes other white people uncomfortable, that's not my fucking problem. That's what I think needs to be said. Because I've had family members, I've had people who call themselves my mentors and be like, "Well, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say this." But on the flip side of the coin, we can talk about domestic violence all day, right? About women's rights all day. We can talk about all these other things, but if you talk about race, you just should. It's just too much. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't talk about certain. It's like there's like a certain level. You can only go like there's like a certain level. You can be MLK friendly, but you can't be Malcolm X. That's too radical, and it's like radical for whom? Um, and so the dentist ended up leaving the practice, and so of course that put the other dentist in a bind, because she was one of the pretty prominent dentists at the practice. I think it's great. A lot of that's great because I feel like we make up a very large percent of the workforce. African American, we don't own a lot of businesses. And so to leave our jobs and make them have to figure it out, great. Make them have to figure it out. This is part of why we need to have our own businesses anyway, so that we can employ our own people, because the comments that she were making, they were not inflammatory at all. And a lot of the comments that I make aren't inflammatory, but I've just been told by so many people, just don't say anything, don't say anything. And for me, what I have come to know and what I can realize is that slave talk. It's such a slave thing. Don't say nothing. Don't let massa hear you talking about being free. Don't talk about how we's smart and we's beautiful. Don't talk about that. That it's like that's it. It's like there's this fear in black people. There's this fear of being equal. Like literally, I think they're really afraid of that, because if we do the same things that the white community does, especially if we do it on the same, the same caliber, like the hair comments, they make inappropriate comments about our hair all day. If we turn around and do that to them, it's like, oh my God, why would you do that? Don't do that. You're gonna make them upset. It's like we're so concerned about not upsetting other people when we're constantly they have their foot on our necks all day long, and you can't say, we're so used to being slapped around, we don't know how to slap back. And so I applaud that, sister. There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind. if someone is intimidated by you, that speaks more about them than it does about you. And so I just think that that's really crazy. I mean, that you're supposed to not make certain comments. You're supposed to just kind of lay down and take it, and um, you know, just be a good house Negro and be a good slave. I mean, fuck that. I mean, there's so there's so much that needs to be said about our status in this country as African Americans, and allowing for, I mean, it's crazy. They literally put somebody. They told her, we had somebody to spy on your page because we were concerned about your views after you started that Black Bachelorette thing. They had somebody to spy on this girl. I'm sorry, I'm waiting for. They had somebody to spy on this girl, like literally waiting for her to say something that was just a little bit too uncomfortable for them. It's kind of crazy. It's like, why is your comfort more important than mine? Um, Crazy. I mean, no one tells the people who support the officer who killed Michael Brown, who the people who donated all the money to him and put comments under the GoFundMe saying, "Good job, kill more niggas." Da-da-da-da-da. No one tells them to stop. But being pro-black, you're supposed to stop saying, "Hey, we need to wake up and realize we're dying at an alarming rate from different things that are going on in the community." It's basically a genocide against us. That's too radical. Why? Crazy. Funny story. So I had a dear family member of mine tell me I had my hair out, big, big afro. My hair was out, and I had a family member tell me, she was like, "I hope you don't wear your hair like that to work, baby." And I said, "Well, of course I do." And she said, "Well, I don't know if you can do that." I was like, "I can wear my hair naturally at work, just like everyone else can wear their hair naturally at work. My hair doesn't hang down straight; it sticks out and up, and it's not straight. So I just wear it. Who's gonna tell me I can't? Who's gonna check me, boo?" And she kind of was taken aback, like, "Wow, can't believe she's gonna go against the status quo and not get a weave and not straighten her hair." No, I'm not. My job is not to make anybody else comfortable. My job is to be a good person and to do my work when I'm at my job. My job is to be a good mother to my child. My job is to be a good spouse to my partner. My job is to treat other individuals the way that they want to be treated. So, speaking about certain political issues make someone uncomfortable, that's really not my problem. Because people say things all the time that aren't appropriate, that are mean, that are wrong, and no one says, "Hey, you stop." But when it's an African American person and they say something about race, they need to stop. We can talk about everything else in the world, but when you talk about race, people want to tell you to stop. Don't stop. Don't stop talking about it. Be vocal about it. That's your First Amendment right. And if someone is like spying on your Facebook and has been hired to spy on your Facebook, I mean, sue the hell out of it. Just sue them, sue the socks off of them, because that's basically violating your rights. So I mean, I think that's crazy. It's insane. But that's what's going on in the workplaces today. And having a doctorate degree in dentistry, a DDS doesn't save you. I know a lot of black people think once you get a certain level, a certain degree, you're not gonna have to deal with racism, white supremacy. Yes, you will. And this is a perfect example of that. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. It's just a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of crazy stuff going on, and people need to be aware. People need to be awake. And this generation is not the generation to be quiet and to be obedient. I think that's the thing with a lot of our older people that especially the ones that are telling you, "Don't say this, don't say that." I mean, for why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if um all of the outspoken influential people in the world today that have done all these wonderful things, what if they said, listen to other people who are like, don't do that. We can't protest. We can't march. We can't say we're supposed to use the same bathroom as white folks. We can't do that. They said that we can't use the same water fountain as them. We can't do the same restaurants as them. Really? And you're gonna accept that? Please. So, I mean, it's always gonna be scary folk who ain't about that life. And they're just gonna have to be scary and weak and whack for the rest of their lives. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Because that's just not me and that's not how I roll and that's not how it's gonna go down. Because I'm just not nah, it's not me. So, wanted to share that with the family. Hope everybody's doing awesome. Hope everything's doing great. Um, just got back from a fight party. It was really cool. Person won, yay. So definitely comment. I know everybody has dealt with that. You know, those kind of situations where people tell you to just be quiet, don't rock the boat when the boat needs to be rocked. I mean, you can't just let all of the bullshit slide. That's not fair. Because if you keep being quiet and keeping your mouth closed, you're gonna remain a permanent underdog. And right now, we're underdogs in this country, and that has to end too. Because we spend $1 trillion a year in this country. So, um, yes, have a good night.